everybody? Ace here, giving it to you straight with Volume 3, Part 2 of From Shadow to Hero, where we reascend from darkness and finally merge it back with the light. Part 2 has Sean and I talking all about the love of ourselves, of course, and how imperative it is to learn how to love ourselves first if we hope to transmute our shadows and unlock the living kingdom within our lives. I'm grateful you decided to join us for Part 2. The conversation continues getting better. But before we jump in, if you hadn't had a chance to check out Sean's YouTube channel, then click the How to Hero YouTube link below. And if you'd like to join the Army of Energy as a fellow warrior of light, then please hit that subscribe button now. And with that, enjoy the show. All right, we're going to move now into the light. All right, so we've gone through our trauma. We've worked through some of the fragmented trauma. We've gotten the keys to the king. We've gotten the keys to our higher self. So now we're convening with our higher self, and we're trying to level up, and we're bringing it into the light. So we're already becoming aware that we are the greatest common factor in every situation that we're in, that we are sovereign beings that are making choices in each and now moment. So I want to talk about love as a frequency, and I want to kind of destigmatize love and start really helping people understand when people say it's all about the love, that love is the frequency of the universe, that you need to love everybody and everything. I think that's almost gotten to a point of triggering people. So let's break it down and kind of explain it. And that's what my guides have been bringing me a lot this week, is a better understanding of love. And I'm going to take it from the top for a little bit, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. But I had this amazing meditation today. And basically it was the Hemi-sync, and they guided me to ask, what's the fifth question that I need the answer to the most? What's the fourth question? What's the third? And I just sat in my spaceship above the planet, expanded my consciousness, and I just allowed that inner voice to come. The first thing they said to me was this, that all you need to focus on is being kind and generous. And then I said, well, obviously I was about to, ask what the hell does that even mean? And then they imbued me with the understanding is you're not being kind to somebody else because you're doing it for that person. You're being kind to that person because you're kind to yourself, and it's just what you do for other people. Generosity doesn't mean you're going to give everybody your fucking money. You're going to take your shirt off your back and then you're going to be out in the cold, because that's doing it at the expense of yourself. There's no love there. There's no energy exchange. What generosity means, be generous with your time. Be generous with your attention. And it's not saying give everybody all your time. It's saying when you are giving somebody your time, be generous enough to that's the only thing you're thinking about, and that's the only thing you're engaging with. I even had to have a conversation with my friend today because she wasn't respecting my time. And it's not the numbers I'm worried about. It's the energy that I'm willing to give. And if you're 45 minutes late to hang out with me, that's not respecting my energy, and that's not respecting my sovereignty. And I love you, and I want to be here with you, and I give you my undivided attention, but this is how that makes me feel. And because of that, she's like, oh, I'll make sure to not do that next. You know what I mean? And because now I'm learning how to communicate and self-regulate, because I love myself more, which again, we'll get deeper into that understanding. That's what kindness and generosity means, is be kind to others because you're kind to yourself. Be generous to others because you already give yourself all that attention and love. 2, I am the one. First thing I imbued me with, Neo, Matrix, right? We're very Matrix time, right? The movie. I even was imbued 2 weeks ago with a better understanding of the Matrix from an internal view, because you have the external view, they're fighting the machines, they're fighting the Matrix, this and that. But in reality, if you break down really the movie from an internal lens, the machines it's the darkness, it's our shadow trying to wake us up, trying to unify us, and trying us to get the keys to the kingdom. Morpheus is the god of dreams. Neo is a neocortex, which was developed when they fused our second chromosome together, and that gave us the ability for higher consciousness, higher speech, love, empathy, and compassion, and why we were able to walk upright on 2 feet. Crazy, right? Interesting.
And I said something else, but so I am the one, but so are you. You are the one. We are all one. Together we are one. But like you were saying before, this was so perfect because we are the same person, basically the same person. We are our own universe because we literally contain inside these bodies the universe. We are a fractal of God, which means though we don't have the same overarching power of him in this form, we are tuned and concentrated with the same faculties, the same characteristics, and the same qualities of the Allspark, of the Source Creator.
because we are God and God is us. We're just in this tinier form to experience contrast, to experience lack, and to have to work together in a dualistic environment so that we can actually realize that it is all one. Because we're all trying to experience ourselves in this infinite universe, which there is now an infinite amount of universes. In this dualistic universe, we're just trying to remember that we are God. We're trying to get back to the Godhead, and that's what this whole journey is to become your God, in my opinion. Your own God, I mean, to be a God and you create. And just like I believe as a fractal, you break off a piece of yourself that becomes a soul fractal, that then you break off 7 pieces of fragments, then become human lives. And how those lives go, you either reabsorb them or you lose them. And that's why you come into lives feeling like you have a piece missing, is because you literally do, because you wagered, you bet on a life and it failed, quote unquote. You didn't remember, you didn't awaken, and you stayed in your ego, you stayed in your lower chakras, and that fragment bled out or it died or it got lost, right? And then you have to take the next life and you have to go find it. So it's like an infinite game of poker, and it's an MMORPG, fucking giant LARP, and it's intense, right? So third thing.
That's a good way to look at it.
Right? Through focusing on love, you can manifest more kindness and generosity, and you can remember that you're one, but you also need to understand what love is, and that's what we're getting into. And through love, through the frequency of love, you'll realize that you are enough, because we are everything. We are expansiveness. We are everything has been, will be, and will ever do anything. We are all of that. And what's amazing about this life, especially with this theory that I have, that we come down in sets of 7, is that means you don't need to do everything. That means you literally only have to focus on love, which we're getting into, which to me, love, how you focus on love is, if you're doing something you don't love, stop doing it. If you're around people you don't love, stop being around them. If you're eating something that you don't love, don't eat it. And if you're eating something that makes you hate yourself later, stop eating it, because it's all about the love, but it ain't about the love of anyone else. It's about the love of ourselves. And that's the only battle in this world, because it really is all one, right? And then the final thing is I am home. I've never felt like I was home. This place, the earth has never felt like it's my home. I've accepted it, that I'm here. I've embraced it now, but it wasn't until this message today that I realized that I am home, because I am the infinite. I am the universe. I created Gaia. Gaia is me, and I am Gaia. So how could I not be home anywhere in the universe? I contain the universe inside this physical body.
Yep.
I am the universe. So how am I not home? And that was that message that they wanted to send me. Those were the 5 messages they needed me to hear, was that the frequency of kindness and generosity will show you that that you are the one, and through love that you are enough and that you are home. And that is the 0 point. And that's what they meant by you are the one. One is the 0 point of consciousness, the unity consciousness, 6D, where there's no separation from anything or anyone. But here's the other side of that. Just because there's no separation from anything or anyone doesn't mean we're not living a human experience. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have feelings or emotions, and we're not going to get mad, and we're not going to get angry, and we're not going to randomly have a weird thought, or we're not, you know what I mean? There's no possibility of perfection in form. There is no possibility of perfection in form. And so I think we need to get this idea of love, but also this idea of ascension, and this idea of 5D, 6D consciousness, and kind of take it away from this fantastical, grandiose idea of what it's going to be, where unicorns, and those are other planets, those are other experiences. You'll see unicorns, you'll see all those things, right? But what we're doing here, we're the freaking warriors, guys, right? We're working through this darkness, and we're transmuting into light, and we're remembering who we are in the process. So now that I just went on my little soapbox spiel, right? I swear I was a heretic probably in like 15 lives, I swear, right?
Yeah, me too.
So now that I kind of just gave that little bit of spiel, I know it resonates with you. What did you grab from that compared to what you've been learning over the last week, and what do you see similar, and what can you add to that message?
You said something really important when you were talking about showing love. You said a few things that I really liked. The one about being generous, right? And loving and understanding your own limitations as well, right? Understanding where your boundaries are, and understanding, in fourth density consciousness, this would be where Jesus was hanging out. We tend to have a martyr complex. We tend to want to give all we have to the other, and that's how we show our love, is by giving and giving and giving and giving. But what that does is we kill ourselves, right? It's a martyr complex. We develop this idea that we have to give everything, and that's how we serve the other. But what you're talking about is the next step, which is the fifth density understanding, that we don't want to give until we're depleted, because then we can't give as much, right? We want to be able to balance, and we want to be able to give such that we're in a better capacity to give more. And so we have to balance between giving to the other people and then giving to ourselves. And so whatever that means for you, right? Whatever that balance is for you, maybe you have to do, 4 hours of like your own personal routine in the morning before you even talk to people, right? And that's fine. And then you spend a couple of hours, and that's your time with others that you're giving to them, or that you're and you'll notice too that those always go two ways, right? It's always, if it's an expansive conversation full of love and sharing, it's gonna feel uplifting most of the time. It's gonna feel good. It's not gonna feel like drudging through muck, right? Like it's gonna feel good. And the important thing that you said is, when you feel like you don't love doing this, you don't love doing that, I don't love these conversations that I have with this person. Maybe I love the person, and I see their potential. I see that them reflected in me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give them myself, right? As we bring all of that in and love ourselves more, all of these types of things fall away. They just naturally will fall away, because we'll withdraw. We're not going to bother. And the people that are trying to come in are going to just stop, because it's law of attraction, right? So as we love ourselves, and so it all comes back to self-love, like you were saying, love the self. And when I think of love, it has a stigma, like you said. People think of like romantic love, or like an externalized love of people mostly think of like lust almost, right? Like they think of this like romanticized version of it. But what I would call it is more like a full acceptance. It's full acceptance of the truth of the other, and the truth of the self. So it's looking at all that you are and fully accepting it, which is how you love yourself. It's accepting all the flaws that you perceive.
And by acceptance doesn't mean you don't do any work then to improve.
Yeah. No.
That in this moment, this is where I am, and I'm proud of where I am, but I know that I'm going to continue moving forward, because that's all it is expansion. And so again, let's go back. I want to talk about lust, because it's so important. I'm big into equations for some reason when it comes to concepts. I feel we've all been taught math wrong, but we've been taught enough about math to where if I put things in an equation, people can plug and play and kind of make sense of how they work. So what I've realized is that lust is the absence of affection. And affection requires respect to be established. So this is what I've realized is in our generation, where you basically bang one another before you even know each other's name. I mean, it's actually happened. We were just completely manipulated from the very beginning about what love is, through Disney, through all of these programming, through mommy and daddy, got to get married. Love is only one shade. Love is only one vibration, and it's put a fucking rock on my finger. That's $5,000. Buy me that white fence and a golden retriever, and now we're in love. But in reality, that's never actually ever been love whatsoever. Just like a diamond is actually still worthless just because you buy it for $10,000.
Yep.
Just because they have a control on the market. So again, it's coming back to awareness and being aware that if you're choosing people with your lower chakras, like I say, if I choose someone with my wiener, it's never going to work. If you're choosing people with your lower chakras because you're attracted to them and you want to like have sex with them, you're lusting after them. There's a reason why lust is a deadly sin. It's not a sin going to put you to hell. It's just going to create hell. That's the difference. Everything's been manipulated, just tweaked slightly. You're not going to go to hell if you're greedy. You're not going to go to hell if you're lusting. You're not going to go to hell if you eat too much. But you're going to live in hell if you lust too much. You're going to live in hell if you're greedy and people start treating you like the devil. You're going to live in hell if you're so obese you are literally imprisoned in your own body. Because again, the kingdom is within us, and so is hell. So lust. I really believe that it takes time for affection to take place, and it takes respect from a man respecting a woman, or the masculine respecting the feminine, right? So the masculine has to respect the feminine, because the feminine usually is the gatekeeper. Regardless of what physical gender the people are, the feminine person is usually the gatekeeper to sex, and masculine is usually the one trying to get in on it. And so here it is. If the feminine can have the self-respect and the patience, then to allow time to elapse so that affection can take hold, that will break the lust, and through affection, then respect will seep, and through respect and love can form. That is how you create love. That is how you fall in love. And that is how you have a loving, respectful, and a healthy long-term relationship.
Yep.
But it takes both sovereign beings being whole in their sovereignty,
Yes.
accepting themselves in that sovereignty for good, bad, or indifferent, themselves, not the other. Because here it is, dude. When we date somebody, when we don't accept ourselves fully, we're never going to accept them fully, and we date up. So you're
Exactly.
going to date up, only date up. So you're going to date up, which means that that person's going to want you to elevate, and that you are going to want to get to their level, which means that by the time you get to their level, that they might actually be at a different level. So what if you dated your vibration? And what if you didn't date until you had a vibration that you literally could exist with, where you didn't need to date anyone? And that, to me, is creating self-love, to breed then life love, to breed that twin flame, to breed that storybook ending that we all want, the happy ever after fairy tale. I believe in it. I'm a hopeless romantic.
Oh yeah, I believe in it. I believe in it as well.
Dude.
And
But
I'll just say, like, you're totally right. You can't find, when you're looking external for the love, you won't find it. You find it within, and then the other, I think, will come. And like, I can only speak from my my thoughts and expectations. I don't know, right? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I truly believe that that we become whole, we find another who's also whole, or both very close, and then there's a merging, and that's when real love happens. And it's not a karmic, we got to learn all this shit together, we got to go through all this garbage and conflict with each other. It's like literally good from the beginning and just stays good. Now there's going to be bumps, I'm sure, of course, it's two humans dealing with each other, but these bumps will be just traversed easily, right? Like, because the person isn't, like, even if you get triggered a little bit, you're going to go, oh, this is triggering me. It must be a part of myself I didn't have yet. I didn't actualize with myself yet. So what is this trigger about, and where does it come from? And some of that initially, I think, will be painful, because two whole people, or very close to whole people, are going to have the deepest, darkest stuff left, right? So
a little arrogance maybe in there too, and I'm thinking it's, there's might be some arrogance in there, because spiritual ego is a real thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is people will be like, I don't need you, right? So it's almost like both of you don't need each other, but you both sort of want each other, and you're drawn together, as how I think it'll be. And there'll probably be some conflict there. Like I don't like that. I feel like I want this person with me because I don't need them. I know I don't need them, but I still want them. Right. So that I'm interested to see like how that all pans out.
You know what I'm really interested to see, to play off of what you were just saying, is why do we inherently, other than my thing is of the mind control programming, but everything has to be an intimate relationship, especially between a man and a woman. Because I'm not just saying I'm saying feminine and masculine, because I regardless of if you're in a same-sex relationship or not, one person's usually more masculine and the other person's more feminine. It's energy.
Usually, yeah.
It's energy. It's impossible it's literally the laws of the universe. And so I'm talking about just the masculine and the feminine, right? So how do we increase our vibration of love? Like, how do we use love, right, to reflect off one another, and instead of being catalyst to one another and having to grow apart, how do we embrace the fact that we're supposed to challenge each other, we're supposed to smash heads, and how do we then get away from this whole, I need to have sex and be in a marriage with every single divine masculine or divine feminine I meet? Even that's my first thought with everything. It's crazy. how do we break that and just allow the relationship to be what it is, even if it's going to be platonic? Like, why do we constantly need to be in one another, literally in one another, to have a relationship?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what that is too. I think a lot of people deal with that. And also, especially what I'll say is that as you open more, the feelings, the link that you establish between the other polarity of gender is stronger, right? So you'll feel it deeper. And so you can, I think that's what is the impetus for that feeling that you're talking about, where whenever like you get approached by divine feminine, you're like, hello.
Yes, I'm gonna get married. Well, what?
Yeah, I'll marry you and you and you and you and you. I'll marry. Yeah. But I know that feeling that you're talking about. So I know. And you know what I found is that it's so much expanded. It just keeps expanding. And so I've been trying my best to be like reserved and like, right, but because it's challenging to understand. But I think the key to it is having both people be 100% no mask, right? Like no games, no airs about their personality, no projecting of their insecurities, no like whenever we say something to another person to try and get them to affirm something for us, we're giving them our power, right? We're saying, I need you to say this to me so that I feel good. And in return, I'll say some nice things to you or something like that, right? But these are just karmic things. These are misunderstandings of the nature of you both. But I think if you have open conversation about like, I'm gonna trigger you and you're gonna trigger me, we need to just accept that. And then when it happens, we need to look at it like scientists and be like, what was that experiment about? Right? You talked about this like trip you went on with your dad, and it triggered the shit out of me. And I can't figure out, they can help you through it, right? But we need to get past the trigger first, right?
So how do we get to that point though? Because it's especially for people in the divine union now that are struggling, right? Because they're going through their awakening, they're going through their ascension, and they're blaming each other for how they feel and all that. How do we get them to take a step back and start looking at the other relationships in their lives and practicing these tools to strengthen, say, the relationship with their parents, the relationship with their best friend? Maybe it's a step-by-step process. Maybe we need to go back into the original relationships of our lives, and we need to kind of heal those or let them go or let them evolve, and then go to the next one and then the next one. And then eventually we can then start working on this intimate relationship we're in, instead of having to just get divorced and then and all that. So how do we raise our vibration through focusing on love, but in a way that people don't usually talk about love? Because I'm kind of trying to, I'm just seeing if you're grabbing my brain waves. I want to talk about love as a frequency of manifestation, and I want to get away from the hippie foo-foo, from the Disney World, from all this crap about what love is in the human, and let's talk about love as an energetic frequency in the universe, and how people can do the work to increase their vibration, so that then they're actually attracting these kinds of people that are willing to do this kind of work with them. But it starts with them, correct?
Oh yeah. And I think it's different for everyone. I think each person has those demons, right? I'll call them demons, those attachments to old things that happened that they've let stick in them. And in, like you said, your old friendships, relationships that maybe happened 20 years ago, like there's wounds there, right? There's gonna be wounds there. Like I remember being bullied when I was like 12 or something. And you know, you have to look at all that shit. And it's all about like the whole purpose, as far as what I've been shown, the whole purpose of us being here is to collect our fragments, like the pieces of ourselves that we lost. And you made an interesting reference when you talked about like it being like a game of poker, and we lose those chips, and right, it's kind of like that. And at least I've seen it very similar to that. And if we put it in that game kind of mentality, it's easier to detach and see it from a neutral perspective. But I think that it's all about finding those fragments. And so for each of us, it's different. And I don't know how to talk about love. I don't know how to talk about it differently than the main, it's something that I think everyone has to feel
Mhm.
and then begin to comprehend within themselves. For me, it's about acceptance. It's about accepting things as they are, accepting, uh, and like you said, if you notice a flaw in yourself that you believe to be a flaw, and you want to manifest a change in that area, you can love that you're there and love where you're going, right? Through acceptance of the reality, which is that I am better at this, or I am moving towards this, or like I am being this, I am this, and love that as well, right?
And and that's what's so important. That's what's so important by sorry, that was a timer. We've been blasting through timers today, so by the way. So
Yeah, no worries.
um that's what's so interesting though for me is that literally it's just been this last 2 weeks that they've really I I think they really want me to focus on helping people translate love in a way that doesn't trigger them and they're feeling like they can't be loved, the lack of love they felt from their childhood. See, that's what I'm saying is love has been just blanket statement as one flavor, right? But
Yep.
it's Baskin and Robbins up in this bitch. You know what I mean? Love is different. Just like we were talking about, there could be evil love. You know what I mean? There could be tough love.
All energy is love. So
All
literally
and
as
that's what I'm
we
saying.
give our awareness to someone and sit present with them, that's just flowing love to them, right?
To
We
me,
don't even
that's
have to
all love is
feel.
made of, right? That's all love is made of. Is it's made up of attention and time. The time you give someone, not the actual clock time, but your now moments.
Your presence. Yeah.
Those are important. Every now moment's important. It really, really is. And I think the more we can get away from, oh, I need to do this to be this. I need to get here to be here. I can't wait for this date. I can't. The more we can get away from that and just go, I am everything I'm everything I need to be in this now moment. Do I have everything I want? Absolutely not. Do I get triggered? Absolutely still. But those are the challenges. And the reason I think that they showed me that the universe is a game is because it is. It's a cosmic game. And that's why your higher self, your oversoul, can be giddy about going into this simulator and being molested, right? And so if we can get away, if we can stay grounded in the human, meaning, transmuting the darkness, going through our shadows, us trying to stay as present as possible, healing our temples, and bringing in more capacity to hold light, right? If we stay grounded in that, that's our focus every day. That's our self-love routine every day. Then we can then take our consciousness, then we can take the observer and stick it on the oversoul, and you're looking at everything from 100,000 square foot view while having your feet on the ground. Now you're a giant. Now you're a
Yep.
giant. There's nothing that nobody can do, say, or you're going to manifest everything you want. And that's the key, is that I know people want to manifest more stuff. And that's why they were able to get so many people to buy into the secret, even though the secret's bullshit, because they don't even tell you any of it. They don't tell you any of it. That, oh,
They give you like half of the recipe.
or how about this? Oh, law of attraction. Just focus on you want and then create your
Make
future.
a vision board and just stare at it.
Instead of telling you, oh, by the way, if you have all these blockages like being molested and traumatized in your life, you're not going to be able to manifest shit. And they don't tell you that because that's what they want. They want you to buy the book for $20 and then they want you to struggle. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. When I want to do a video just on the 12 universal laws, like that'll be great. But where I'm at with this whole love frequency thing is it really comes down to how are you feeling in that moment? And don't focus on what feels good in the body. Turn in like the lower chakras, like, ooh, that food, even though it's a triple chocolate cake, and I know that I have diabetes and I might go to the hospital, but I'm going to do what feels good, right? No, I'm talking about what resonates. You have to focus on what resonates. And if you don't like something, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. It's for your highest will to move away from that. And so let's wrap up this interview on darkness and love, dark to light. Let's wrap it up on kind of over the last year, say, through your awakening, through your enlightenment, and now you're coming into your own. I'm coming into my own. I feel really great, but I'm also seeing a lot of people just starting to even go down. I'm seeing people just starting to come up. I've seen people who were ahead of me that actually devolved this year. It's been everybody on a mosaic of journey. So what have you learned? What have you learned the most this year in terms of love, and how has that helped you advance on your path?
So I've always been really hard on myself, really, really, really hard on myself. And I think a lot of people are, right? Like, and so my biggest lesson was to relax and to stop projecting so many like expectations on myself. Be more content with exactly where I'm at, because I jumped in, and for whatever reason, evolve. That's all I cared about. Evolve. And I had messaging coming in from my guides being like, no, but you gotta serve too. You gotta do stuff as well. You can't just sit and heal yourself constantly, right? Like that's literally, so my energy work, I just constantly sit there bringing in energy and healing myself, and reviewing all these different, like the deepest things I can find, literally calling for more, like bring it to me, bring the demons, bring them, show them to me. And I got they showed themselves, right? And I had to go through some stuff. And I've talked about some of the stuff that I went through, and that's part of the manifestation of the demons, right? Like these are the most challenging things, and literally I'm sitting here calling them to me purposefully to try and accelerate my evolution, when I didn't really need to do that. I made it harder on myself than it was. All I had to do was be, and I'm in my most flowy state when I'm doing this type of thing, right? When I'm engaging with another person that's expanded and open, and I'm sharing whatever it is that I have stumbled across in my wanderings, right? So like constantly spirits reaffirming to me that there's this balance that I need to maintain of my evolution versus service, because right now is a time for us to serve. And we'll all be called in different ways, but my calling is to do what we're doing here. And at least that's what it is for now. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens as things progress. But for me, again, it was patience, self-love, like understanding that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly as I need to, and it's all perfect, divine timing, and really trusting in that. That's the other thing, trust and faith, because you'll find that, and I'm sure you've seen this, that until you have faith, blind faith, like you won't get the evidence. The evidence comes after the faith, right? And by the time the evidence comes, you're like, I don't need the evidence anymore. I already know that it's real, right? So that's what it was a lot for me.
You almost feel, when you start seeing the evidence of your faith after you cried, after you've gotten these imbued with these ideas that just keep going, that you don't quit, you're almost there, and then you finally surrender, and you finally start getting really healthy and healing inside your heart, and then all of a sudden stuff starts actually happening externally. The relationships start to change. New people
get drawn to you, like the people that are gonna help you expand, and that's how we need to look at people too. We need to, in my opinion, we need to start to look at them as expansion tools in many ways, right? If we take a step back, look at things from a neutral perspective, step away from the human a bit and the human's urges, and we look at people that person expands me in this manner, and we don't know if that's going to continue. Like those things can be really fiery and then fizzle, and I think that as we raise in vibration, like these lessons can happen so fast. Like now we can really like meet somebody and have all this catalyst lesson, and then literally just break apart. And so my caution to people is to take your time, to be patient with it, to allow all these opportunities, because as you become whole, you'll be seen as a ideal mate as well. So you'll exude confidence, and you'll exude a light that will be seen, and people will be drawn to you. And so you have to be sort of in your element to see what's good for me and what's not good for me, what's hindering me and what's not hindering me when it comes to relationships. And, are people respecting my boundaries? Do these people respect me?
Am I setting them?
Yeah. Exactly.
setting boundaries? Am I communicating? Am I listening
Exactly.
to myself? Am I stopping? Am I breathing? Am I asking? Am I listening? And then am I trusting? You know, these are what I learned this year. I learned how to actually lead myself this year. We all, this is what I hear. We all, for some reason, we want to be led. We all want to be led
Yes.
by other people. We all want to be told what to do. No, we don't. Our humans do, because we're so exhausted of trying to figure it out that we have literally nothing left, that we're willing to give away all of our rights and sovereignty just for the idea that we'll be safe and that will be secure. But even though we know it's not true, because the safety and security is in itself is an illusion, because we're constantly growing, we're constantly being put feet to the fire so that we can then figure out a way to happen for ourselves. But you're right, pace, stopping, resting, allowing yourself to fuck up, allowing yourself to fail, allowing yourself not to have any energy. And to me, acceptance is the first step of the being human process, the being human framework. It's self-awareness is the first one, which we talked about in the beginning. It's gaining awareness of everything that's killing you, but also everything that you love and that lights you on fire. And then it's accepting all of the shit that's happened to you in your past, letting go of it, and putting yourself on the hook for all the stuff that's happening in your present that you now can make a move to change. And then you have self-care and self-love, which they've been hitting me. Dude, I literally thought I was going to have to go another 2 years to complete this book, because I was like, all right, so it took me a whole year to learn self-awareness. It took me a whole year to self-accept. But in reality, I've always done self-love and I've always done self-care. I just was never good enough. But now that I've been able to clear the demons from my egregores, from my consciousness, now I can accept things I already felt and knew inside of me. And because of that, now my book will be done even quicker than I thought, because self-care and self-love is already taken care of. They just gave me everything on self-love, dude. They literally gave me everything on self-love, and it has nothing to do with loving anyone else but yourself.
By loving yourself, you're loving everyone. You're, and if you love yourself wholly, you're not going to see parts in other people that you don't love. It's a weird, beautiful, funky place to be. And I think people are getting there now, and they're starting to see that. And so it's good. I kind of was putting my finger on the pulse of the collective, like to try and see if I was, and I could feel other people there. So it's exciting. It's exciting. And I think, just to close it off, I think that's the trick. It's Jesus said, it's forgiveness. It's so simple. It's forgiving the self for being such an impediment to the self-love, right? Like you need to forgive yourself for shitting on yourself, right? And as you do that, the more you love yourself, the less you'll have weird people coming into your life, right? They just won't. They'll just.
Residents doesn't know that they can't deal with how much you love yourself. I've realized that with a close relationship of mine, is every time that I start to really, really vibrate high. I mean, I'm like love bombed. I've been blissed out for the last week. It's been nuts. I mean, I've been challenged and everything, but people avoid me that are close.
Yes. They won't see you. They won't see you.
What am I doing? Am I doing something? And I've realized after so long of watching the patterns and everything, I'm not doing anything wrong. There's nothing I'm doing wrong. I'm actually doing everything correct. And that's why I'm getting this reaction. So it's almost like now it's a beacon. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm doing good. And so I want to close out on this, and then I'll do the outro. How can you love yourselves a little more on this journey? How can you bring more love into your life? How can you forgive yourself some more? How can you gain some more clarity on your journey? And what can you do different today or tomorrow that you didn't do today or yesterday that's going to take you a little bit further on your journey? And what I've learned is you got to ask for help. And it's not just asking for help to external, to people and resources and organizations. Those are very important for your human to heal. What I'm talking about is asking for help for something bigger than yourself, and not just God, source, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about your higher self is real. Your oversoul is real. Your light family is real. And anything that you believe in, if it resonates with you, then it's freaking real. And this is what I realized is when you close your eyes, we're in the field of the quantum. We're in the field of possibility. And if we can visualize and raise our vibration to that visualized outcome, and when we open our eyes, we take that, we push it through our pineal gland into the realm of actuality, reality, and then that is how we manifest everything that it is that we want. But in reality, when you remember who you are, what you are, and why you are here, you stop really trying to manifest too much stuff because you're just waiting for the universe to bring you some surprises because it's so much more imaginative than your own. And so I'm really grateful that you all joined us for this long ass interview. It's probably like an hour and 40 minutes. It's gonna be great. I loved every second of it with you, Sean. This has been wonderful.
Me too.
I really appreciate all of you for the 3rd edition of Shadow to Hero, From Shadow to Hero. This is volume 3. I think we're gonna call it Dark to Light. And I think we're gonna do this at least weekly. And then eventually we'll get some lives going and everything like that. If there's anybody in the audience that's made it this far, that has any comments, that wants to talk with me and Sean offline, you know, just hit us up. We're all about that. We're all about serving right now as well as we serve ourselves and as we heal. And, you know, really thank you so much for joining us again for this and for giving us your time and sharing your energy with us. Because when we're recording this, we can already feel the people in the now moment, in the now time continuum, already being with us in this. And so, Sean, if you have anything that you want to leave your audience with, and then we'll sign off.
I just want to tell everyone that I love them. Keep shining.
Perfect. All right, brother. I love you too, man. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
I love you. Yeah. Take care, brother.
Take care.
And now that we've fully integrated the darkness back into the light, that officially wraps up Volume 3 of From Shadow to Hero. If you like what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you're interested in joining the Army of Energy as a fellow light warrior, then hit that subscribe button. If you want to donate to my work, check out the description below. And don't forget to head over to Sean's How to Hero YouTube channel in the description below as well. And with that, I hope you get a little bit further on your journey today. I hope you gain a little bit more clarity on your path. And I hope you bring a little more love into your life so you too can transmute your shadow and merge the darkness with the light. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.